welcome to the studio in Paris. Today we're talking standards and communication with Christos Aslanidis. Christos, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Can you speak to us a little bit about the role of standards in the smart grid market?
Yes. I think to bring it to a point, when we're talking about standards, we're talking about securing investments overall. You can look at all levels, starting from utilities, for example. If meter makers provide them meters based on particular standards that have been pre-selected, this means that the utilities, they can select between different or multiple suppliers. They are not dependent on a single supplier, so there are multiple suppliers. So if there are, for example, delivery issues, they can compensate that by placing orders to a different supplier. The other point is they are using then proven technologies, because when we're talking about standards, we are talking about all of this has been defined, it has been tested in multiple regions, etc. So it's nothing proprietary that needs to be proven, let's say. It's already proven in the field, and this is the big benefit. And there is an evolution ongoing, right? So if something is happening, then it will get fixed. There will be, again, multiple solutions, so less risk. If we go then to the other level of the meter makers, so same for them. So they're using chips. They can use multiple suppliers. Again, there is the security. They're investing money into development, right? Again, they are using a proven technology. So no point for them trying to go to utilities to convince them to use proprietary technologies. I mean, on the one hand, it would be a benefit for the meter maker, because then, there is some dependency, but in the real world, it should be different, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's opening markets, because the meter maker is not going to convince all world about using proprietary technologies, because there will be multiple markets using standards, and they can supply to those multiple markets in different regions, right? So again, it's securing the investment they have done to develop these particular meters, right? And for the chip supplier, as Rene says, again, it's the same thing, because proven technology, we invest a lot of money by developing this kind of technologies, so it's good to have a market in place, rather than trying to go out there and convince people to use proprietary technology, right? So overall, standards are really a good thing for all of us, making sure that there's a proven technology and the investment is secured.
So where is this market going, and how is the Prime Alliance in particular facilitating this?
Right. Looking a few years back, it kind of started, let's say, with smart meter reading. So where the task was to read out meters and to be able to, save money by reading meters remotely.
Yes.
Right. So this is where it started from. So there was the requirement for certain data rates for the technologies. This was defined, and today this is used. Millions and millions of units are used in the market. So now we are starting to define different use cases, additional use cases. I mean, already it has progressed quite a lot, because we are using communication in different areas, in distribution, automation, in street lighting. There are smart cities where different applications are using connectivity technologies. And the Prime Alliance is kind of following those trends and defining new technologies where it's required. So for example, for power line communication, there are use cases defined now where it is identified that higher data rates are required. And those higher data rates needs to be provided, in technologies. So what's going on today is defining use cases, which has been already done. Then analyzing the use cases, defining or deriving the technical requirements from the use cases, and then turn them into a standard.
Okay.
If this is fulfilled by a certain existing standard, then this existing standard is going to be used also under the roof of the Prime Alliance.
Okay.
Right? The same thing is happening. So this was one example about broadband PLC. There is another example by using or introducing RF technology together with power line communication as a hybrid solution, let's say, right? Again, the same approach has been taken there. Use cases have been defined from the different areas. Then the technical requirements have been derived from those use cases. And now we are in the last steps to kind of define which is the right technology that would fulfill those technical requirements and which then would be standardized under the Prime Alliance as well. Can be, again, existing technologies. Doesn't need to be something completely new, but could be something new. So.
And from a Renesas perspective, I mean, what is it that you're focusing on to further this development? I mean, are there any specific technologies, for instance, that are a focus for you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are two things. One point is, what do we believe will come in the future? Is a technology that will, appear in the future? Where is the market going? This is for us actually the most important thing. If there are certain signs that are pointing to a particular direction, to a particular technology, then this is where we would make our investment in, right? So in the past, we made investments in, for example, for Prime Tech or PLC technology in general, right? For Prime, for G3, for meters and more. So those are the standards that are existing today in Europe. Those are the main standards, let's say, in Europe today for power line communication, right?
Okay.
So this is where we invested. The same is valid for RF technology. So we can see, YSUN coming up. I mean, YSUN technology is famous in the US. It's coming over to Europe. So this is where we have invested. And, we will take the same approach in the future. So where we can see clear signs pointing to a clear technology and market, this is where we will invest.
Christos, thanks so much for making the time to chat to us.
Thank you very much.
From the studio here in Paris, thanks for joining us.